Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Rashmi and today I am going to show you how to do a double crochet. This is part 3 of my how to crochet video. I'll go ahead and link the other two in the description box below, so make sure you check those out as well. Starting off with a slip knot. So to do this, I'm going to take the loose end of the yarn and secure it between my fingers like so. And while pointing my index finger, I am going to wrap my yarn around it twice like this and securing the other end between my fingers as well. I'm going to pick the yarn on the left, move it over to the right, okay? I'm going to pick the yarn on the left again and move it over to the right, but this time slip it off your fingertip, okay? Now we're going to grab these two bits of loose yarn and I'm going to pull the two together, and that makes my perfect slip knot. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and use your crochet, slip it inside this loop, and we're going to tighten this loop by pulling onto this side of my yarn, okay, the loose end of my yarn. Now because we are doing double crochets, we are going to chain 23. Okay, the 23 because the 3 is going to be the turning chain, so I will explain that in a minute. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and chain 23. So do just a quick recap on how to chain. You're going to take your crochet, go under the yarn from the left hand side, turn your crochet over and pull through the loop. That's one chain, okay? And go ahead and do 23 of these. That's 2, 20, 21, 22, and last one, 23. Now here's my chain 23. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now we're going to start working in double crochets on top of these chains. So for that we're going to have to turn the corner, okay, so we can start and do the work on top of these stitches. So when you're working in double crochets, we are going to use 3 chains and then turn the corner, okay? So yarn over your crochet like so, okay, always going from the left hand side like this. All right, I'm going to skip first 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, skip those 3 and stick your crochet inside the top of the 4th chain, okay, like this. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Just like your half double crochets, you're going to have 3 loops on top like this, okay? We're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops only, like that. And then we're going to yarn over one more time and pull through the last 2 loops, okay? Let's go through this again. Yarn over and go into the next stitch, which is right here on the top part of this chain, and pull up a loop like this. Now we've got 3 bits of yarn on top of our crochet. So we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 only, okay? Let's yarn over one more time and go through the last 2 as well, okay? So again, to do our double crochet, yarn over your crochet once, go inside the next chain, pull up a loop like this, okay? We've got 3 bits of yarn on top of our crochet, yarn over, pull through the first 2 like this, and then yarn over, pull through the next 2. So just like this, you're going to go all the way and finish all the chains up till here, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, I'm on the last stitch now. So yarn over your crochet, stick your crochet inside this stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, okay? Now that completes this row of double crochets, okay? Now before we start working on the top ones, we're going to have to turn the corner again. So to turn the corner, you're going to chain 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now with double crochets, it works a little bit differently. Previously, we worked with single crochets or half double crochets and went and did a stitch directly underneath this one, the chains, okay? But when it comes to double crochet, the chain 3 is considered as one double crochet already. So we're going to skip this stitch here and we're going to go directly into this one because there's already a double crochet here. So yarn over your crochet, go inside this stitch, make sure that you've gone through both parts of this stitch, okay, and pull up a loop. Yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over, go through the next 2 loops like this. Let's go through this one more time. Yarn over, stick your crochet inside this stitch, making sure you go through both parts of it. As you can see, they are on top, V shapes. Pull up a loop. We've got 3 bits of yarn on top of our crochet. Yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, okay? Now, when we're going to the end, there is something different we're going to do at the end of round 3. So we're going to work together till round 3, and then after that, I'll let you have some practice, okay? So go ahead, come all the way to the end here, and I'll meet you there. Okay, we're almost at the end of this row, okay? Let's work on the rest of these stitches together. Now, yarn over crochet, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. With the 3 loops on your crochet, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and then yarn over and pull through the next 2. Just like this, let's go ahead and do the next one. Now, before we do this, you can see that there is a chain 3 there, okay? When we're doing that in the first round, that is just considered as a turning point, okay? We're not considering this as a chain, okay? But this first crochet that we did, that's actually a stitch, okay? So it's different how you work on top of this one, so I'll talk to you about this in a minute. But in this particular case, we are just going to finish our work off in this stitch. So nothing in the chain 3. Yarn over, go into this stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through first 2, and then yarn over, pull through the next 2, okay? Now again, turning the corner, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work around, skip this stitch. We're going to start working in the next one. Yarn over, stick your crochet into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the next 2, okay? Now go ahead and work in all of these stitches, okay, and I'll show you how to finish the end of this round. I'm at the end of round 3 now, okay? We're going to do the last few stitches together. So yarn over, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2, okay? Now I can see that there are 2 stitches left. As we said, this chain 3 is also a stitch. So we're going to yarn over. First of all, let's do this stitch, okay? Pull up a loop, let's do a double crochet in there. If we are, the most common mistake people make is that they forget about this chain 3, and that's where their work starts slanting, okay? We can't forget about this. This is considered as a stitch. So for that reason, we have to work a double crochet on top of this stitch as well. So yarn over, and this time we are going to go on top of the chain 3 part, which is right here, okay? So I'm going to stick my crochet inside this, okay? So wiggle it in, there we go. And we're going to yarn over and pull a loop out from there. Now yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops, okay? And that completes your 3 rows. To start the next row, you're going to start with chain 3, turn your work, and you're going to keep going. Each time when you end up with the chain 3 stitch here, you're going to work a double crochet on top of it here, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and do 8 rows of this one, okay? So we have got 1, 2, 3 together, and I'm going to do 5 more, and I'll see you at the end of the 8 rows. Now I'm at the end of my 8 rows. This is what my work looks like so far. Okay, before we close this off, we are going to show you what to do if you made a mistake in a couple of stitches down or something. I have discussed this in my previous videos as well. You simply take your crochet out of your loop and start to pull the stitches slowly. I would say don't just tug on it too hard. You pull slightly and softly, so you unravel 1 stitch at a time, okay? So let's say we've corrected our mistake. We're going to stick our crochet back inside the top of this chain, okay? Into this loop rather. Now from here, let's work on those last 2 together. Yarn over, go back into that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. Now we've got the chain 3 stitch here. So yarn over, go on the top of this chain 3, which is right here, this part, okay? So I'm going to stick my crochet inside, yarn over and pull up a loop. yarn over and pull through the first 2, and then yarn over, pull through the next 2. This completes my work here, okay? So I'm going to chain 1 and snip the yarn off like this and pull it out from here, okay? Okay, give this loose bit of yarn a pull to close this stitch off, okay? Now that completes it. We are going to take the darning needle to stitch the ends in. Now, double crochet is the most common stitch used in crocheting, okay? And if you're able to do this, when you're able to do this, you should be able to make any of the, okay, wait 1 second. Okay, I've just threaded my end into the needle. Now, double crochet is actually the most common stitch used in double crocheting, okay? And once you know how to do this, you can make most of the blankets that are out there, loads of different patterns and so on and so forth. But the easiest one is obviously just doing double crochets all around, okay? I will share a few ideas of simple blankets to do as well, okay? Just using double crochets. Okay, from here, use your end of the needle and stitch it in the top part of these stitches, okay? So we're going to go in and in a zigzag manner like this, go through the stitches and come out all the way, okay? Like this. Give the corner a little pull so it goes back to its original place. Let's snip this end off. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side as well. So this is what it looks like once it's finished, okay? Now to compare this with my previous work that I did, okay? So we're going to look at half double crochet. So when we're looking at double crochet and half double crochet, they look very similar. However, this one is very tightly knit. So even if you pull on it, you can't see many gaps at all. Whereas with double crochet, there are a little bit, tiny bit of gaps you can see in the stitches, okay? Obviously, it depends on what type of wool you're using as well. Sometimes there won't be any gaps in the double crochet as well, okay? But because I'm using the same yarn, you can see the difference very well. Now, with this one, we had to do 12 rows to make this size, whereas in this one, we only had to do 8 to make this size, okay? Same with comparing single crochets. Okay, let's pop that here. So with single crochets, we had to do 20 rows. With half double crochet, we had to do 12. And with our double crochet, we had to only do 8, okay? So these are the 3 we've got so far.